Man, what's good, family? Y'all know what it is. This is your boy Jared O11 Green with my co-host and LDBC brother, Mr. Southern. What's going on, man?
I'm blessed and highly favored this evening. Hopefully, you are doing well, your family doing well, everybody in the chat doing well. The HBCU Fanatics in the building. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And please make sure you hit my like button. If you haven't done so, share and subscribe. Mainly subscribe. Trying to at least get to 500 before the year is out. Now, we got some people that came in early. I appreciate y'all. My brother, Brent Fox, man, he said salute brothers, man. Your
Man, salute to the Lieutenant Brent Fox.
salute to the lieutenant, man. His Fairview and Panthers are doing their thing in the West. Even though I don't think they gonna beat nobody from the East if they make it to the SWAC championship. But we'll talk about that. Uh, Coach came in early. My brother, 86 go. He said, Jay Greasy, what up, man? Ain't nothing, brother. He said, sup, chat. Man, y'all go over there and support 86 Ghosts is the co-host of Big Reg, Big Boy Talk, man. Him and Jada Six. Y'all go support those brothers, man. Um Motivation to be a millionaire. What's up, man? He said salute Jared Code 67 in chat
Man,
and relax and calm and rain.
salute to the family. Motivation to be a millionaire, relax and calm reign. Salute to y'all.
Salute to y'all, man. And relax and calm rain asked, is Jay Good and Joseph Townsend the same person? Once Jay stopped appearing, then Joe Townsend started appearing. I can't ever remember seeing them on the same show. No, they're different people, brother. They
Hey,
different.
nah, I'm not gonna lie. They're gonna show you he been watching you for a while, bro. Cause
I appreciate it.
yeah, because I mean, he right. I can't remember the two of them being on the same show together. But hey, if we can ever work it out, we definitely gonna get them on the same show at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
I mean, but
absolutely.
I mean that's the accurate assessment though. But nah, they different people though.
Yeah, they different. They definitely different people, man. Go Jags! And relax and calm rain said fire Terrence Graves. Yeah,
Big
we gonna talk
facts.
about that. We
Big
do. We
facts.
definitely gonna tackle back. We gonna talk about that, man. And then okay, congratulations to 86 Goats. He said I hit 777 subs today, man. Congratulations, brother. And my brother Anthony Bolton. Okay, excuse me, aka Memphis Tigers, man.
Yeah, man.
Said
Salute to your fam.
yes, sir. Said it's 778. I was good looking, man. Good looking. That's what we're supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be supporting each other, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah,
y'all,
yeah,
man.
yeah. We don't build a community over here with 86 Ghost Brandon, Big Reg, host of Big Boy Talk, the whole
Jada Six, yeah.
yeah, the whole HBCU family, whole Jaguar Nation, whole Ravens Nation, we trying to, make it one big family. I'm like 105 subscribers short of 1,000. So if you have not done so already, come over to the channel and subscribe to the channel. I think I got like what I think eight something 901 something like that. I'm somewhere in the vicinity, so I'm close to 1,000 too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, man. Please, please, please support the brother, man. Subscribe. And man, let's get into it, man.
Oh,
Let's
oh, oh,
go ahead.
and before we really get the show kicking off, popping off, I just want all y'all HBCU fanatics to know we are starting the HBCU Fanatics Facebook group, and we starting HBCU football Facebook group. So once we get it popping, hopefully we got it off the ground by next show, so we can help not only grow the community from the YouTube side of things, but also on the Facebook side of things. Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will keep y'all updated on that. Yes, sir. But man, let's get these. I knew, I knew Big Joe was gonna. He said, "Damn, I am Jay Good now." No, no,
Hey,
no.
both defensive linemen, they kind of got both of them got the beards, the Suge Knight look. So they
Yeah, they
resemble
light
each other a
skinned
little
brothers.
bit, you
Yeah,
know, a little bit.
they do look like distant cousins, but no, they ain't the same brother.
No, they
They
are
ain't
not the
the,
same person.
no man. Hey, I know one thing. My Baltimore Ravens need them on that D line. Damn. That,
Hey, they can use the both of them on the defensive line, you know.
yeah, man. But let's you know what it is. We're gonna attack the Division 2, man. We're gonna go. Let's go. CIAA, man.
Man, let's go,
So
let's go.
so man, Winston Salem let me down, coach. Man, they lost to Shaw,
Ah,
13-20.
man.
They lost to Shaw, man, and Virginia Union beat Elizabeth City State 37-18. Virginia State beat Bowie State 28-21. A very good game. I watched that game a little bit actually.
All right.
Um, both teams was moving the ball very fairly well until their both defenses started, uh, stopping it. But shout out to Virginia State. Lincoln lost to Bluefield State 30-27. Livingstone lost to Fayetteville State 38-14. Broncos are in the win column again.
All right, all right.
Yes, sir. I gotta be a homer support. DeVille. Uh, let's go with the standing. So Fayetteville State is 4-0 in the conference, so they are four, but they're 4-3 overall, but they're number one. Virginia Union and Johnson C. Smith are both tied overall 5-1, but Virginia Union is 3-0, and Johnson C. Smith is 2-1 in the conference.
Mm,
Bluefield State is also 2-1 in the conference, and they're 3-3. Livingstone is 2-2 in the conference and 3-3. Uh, Shaw is 2-2 and 2-4 in the conference, and both, or it's not both, all three of Virginia State, Elizabeth State, Elizabeth City State are tied. They're both 1-2 in the conference.
okay.
Uh, Winston-Salem State is 1-3, and both Bowie State and Lincoln are both 0-3 in the conference. They're at the bottom, unfortunately. So let's we gonna go. You want to go ahead and go into the predictions, or you want to say that for later in the show?
Oh no, we with this SWAC and CIAA.
The CIAA.
And so yeah, let's knock them out real quick.
Yeah, let's knock them out. Well, I agree. So Fayetteville State got a bye week this week,
Okay.
but Bowie State or Bluefield State? I
Uh,
got Bowie.
say that again.
Bowie State versus Bluefield State.
I'm
What you
going
got?
Bowie State. I'm going Bowie
I
State.
got Bowie. I was impressed by their offense, even though it was stagnant, but that they could um they have a very competent running back in my opinion. I think they can blow out Bluefield State in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson C. Smith versus a scrappy Shaw.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Shaw.
I'm gonna go with Johnson C. Smith.
Yeah, I'm looking for an upset.
But you may be right. You may
Yeah.
be right. 'Cause Shaw is very young, but they're not no pushovers.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln versus Virginia Union.
Uh, I'm gonna go Lincoln.
I got Virginia Union.
Well, I already knew you were gonna pick Virginia Union. That's why I picked Lincoln. I don't know. It's something, but when Southern beat the brakes off and back in the gap, I got a certain attachment to Lincoln and Allen. You know what I'm saying?
You know they ain't beating. They have
Hey,
not
hey,
beaten
still in
Virginia Union.
hey, I'm still picking them. It's
I
whatever
hear
with
you.
me.
And Livingstone versus Salem State.
I'm going with Winston-Salem State.
I'm with you on Rams all the way. And this might be a trap game for Virginia State. Elizabeth City State versus Virginia State.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with Virginia State on this one.
I am too, but I wouldn't be surprised if they drop this one to Elizabeth City State.
All right.
Yeah, and as for next week or this coming up week, excuse me, this coming up Saturday. My apologies. But let's go ahead and go to the SIAC. All
All
right.
right. All right.
So we got last week we had Morehouse versus Central State. Morehouse beat Central State 31-26.
All right.
And I was wrong again. Clark Atlanta let me down, man. Clark Atlanta lost to Albany State 32-7.
Come on, man. Zion McDonald got to do something though.
Yeah, something gonna happen, man. Fort Valley State lost to Benedict in the close game 14-7.
All right. All right.
That was a good game. Uh, I hate that you was right on this one, Coach. I gotta eat crow. Kentucky State Thoroughbreds blew out Edward Waters 42-14.
Man, I'm telling you, man, Kentucky State something to deal with, and not only that, but one of my people, he ended up going to Kentucky State, and from what I was told, he played what? I think he played what, linebacker and running back. I'm like, damn, they play on both sides of the ball. So I don't
Yeah,
know
I
which one he
guess they need
played.
him. Well,
Yeah.
nowadays people try to do the Travis Hunter thing, so I'm not surprised. Miles versus Lane. Miles beat Lane 23-13.
All right. All right.
And Savannah State beat Allen 23-20. You were right about that one as well. I picked Allen.
Yep.
So let's go over to the standings. All right, so for the standings, Benedict is 5-0 in the conference, and they're 6-0 as well. So Benedict is ahead of the pack in the SIAC. Albany State is 4-0 in the conference, but they're 5-1 overall. Kentucky State is right behind them. They're 5-1 in the conference, but 5-2 overall. Edward Waters is 3-1 in the conference, but 4-2 overall. Savannah State and Morehouse are tied in the conference. They're both 2-2, but Savannah State is 3-4, and Morehouse is 2-4. Allen is 2-3 in the conference, but they're 2-5 overall. And Central State is 2-4 in the conference, and they're overall 2-5.
All right.
Um, Clark Atlanta, Tuskegee, and Fort Valley and Miles are both tied in the conference. They're 1-3.
All
And
right.
then Lane is 0-4. They haven't won a game.
All right.
Going over to the predictions for this coming up weekend. It's coming up Saturday. Okay, so we got Tuskegee versus Albany State.
I'm going to Tuskegee.
I'm going. No, I'm going to Albany. I'm going to Albany State.
All right. All right.
Lane versus Morehouse. I got Morehouse.
I'll take Lane.
All right. Central State is playing a out of conference game. Kentucky Christian. Never heard of that school.
You said they who playing who?
They playing an out of conference team. It's a non-conference team. They're playing Kentucky Christian, Central State. I got Central State. I don't even know. I ain't haven't heard of Kentucky Christian. Yeah, I watch. Remember what happened last time Virginia State played? Yeah. You're right. Here we go. Coach just dropped, y'all, but he coming back. Here comes Mr. Shelton, the real Mr. Shelton. Brock, MF, and Purdy. Oh Lord, Adrian Cook. Yeah, he talking about must be talking about Zion McDonald. Yeah, he mostly a running quarterback. Let's see. Then we have. Let me see the coach coming back, y'all. My brother Big Reg. You good, brother? He said I got a call. I'm coming back now. Okay. Oh, yo, Zai can tote that rock. He can tote that rock. Absolutely. My brother Big Reg. We were just talking about you, man. Y'all go ahead and support Big Reg, host of Big Boy Talk, man. Welcome back, Coach.
Yeah. What game that was you were saying, bro?
Kentucky. It was a non-conference game. Central State is playing a school called Kentucky Christian. I
I'm
ain't even
going
never
Central
heard of them.
State. I'm going
Me
Central
too.
State.
I'm staying with the HBCU. Damn right. Uh, Fort Valley State versus Savannah State.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going Savannah State.
Uh, I'm gonna go Fort Valley. I'm gonna
All
go
right,
Fort Valley.
all right. That's a
Clark
good
Atlanta versus Miles.
one. I'm going Clark Atlanta.
I'm going Miles.
All right.
Uh, Benedict versus Edward Waters.
Benedict.
Benedict. Yeah, I'm
Benedict.
going Benedict as well.
Yeah.
I think Benedict is gonna go undefeated. I could
You
be
already
wrong.
know at some point. Noah Barton and Eric Dooley was gonna let you down. You know what I'm saying?
you, you you gonna leave them alone, but hey,
Man,
they
you
let you
already
down
know.
as a Jaguar, so you
Yeah.
ain't gonna let them remember it. So I hear
Yeah.
you. Kentucky State versus Franklin Pierce University.
Kentucky State.
Kentucky State. Yeah, I agree. Kentucky State as well. Um, okay. So we're gonna move over to the MEAC. So Morgan State blew out Virginia Lynchburg 44-6.
That's no shot.
Yeah. Delaware State blew out Southern Connecticut State 70-23.
Woo, that was insane, bro.
Yeah, it was. Coach Deshaun Jackson got another win. Sacred Heart beat Howard 32-14. Damn.
Yeah.
I wanted Howard to win that
Yeah, me too.
because Delaware State pissed me off that when they played Sacred Heart. They were beating them and let them come back. Uh, South Carolina State beat North Carolina A&T in a close game 22-16.
Oh, say that again.
South Carolina State, the Bulldogs, beat North Carolina A&T Aggies 22-16.
Woo. All right. So who you think? Well, we're gonna talk about that after. I'm gonna let you
Yeah,
finish. Yeah.
we're gonna talk about it. Wofford unfortunately beat Michael Vick and his Norfolk Spartans 31-14. Like I said, he all he need to do recruit defense,
Yeah.
secondary, and mainly secondary and some pass rushes. Um, and North Carolina Central blew out former MEAC, now SWAC team, Florida A&M 45-7.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, James Cozy.
Yeah, we gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we gonna talk about it.
We
We
gonna
definitely
talk
gonna
about it.
talk about it.
We definitely gonna talk about it. he's he said, "Dang, these Connecticut teams be booty, except for your UConn Huskies, of course."
Yeah.
I'm Big Red's a UConn fan. Okay, so let's go. Let's talk about the standings in the MEAC. All right. All right. So we got, of course, North Carolina Central on top 5-2. Delaware State is it's a two-way tie between Delaware State and South Carolina State. They're 4-3. Howard is 3-3. Morgan State is 3-4. And unfortunately, Michael Vick and his Spartans are 1-6.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that Wait next year this time, but time gonna tell though, you know.
No, no. Yeah, he's. I'm glad he's getting the feel of the college game. What he need to work on. Because he inherited a losing program. So yeah, he got. Hopefully, they give him time. But I think me personally, to just watch a couple of Norfolk games, me myself personally, I think he's starting off good as far as the talent he has. But I knew he was gonna have a rough go of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, and then let's talk about what's going on next week. Or I keep on saying next week. This coming
This
up
weekend. This
weekend.
weekend. Yeah.
So in week 8, it's only one game going on in the MEAC. Everybody got to buy. Howard versus Tennessee State.
I'm going Howard.
I got Howard as well.
All right.
And then let's go to our beloved SWAC.
You already know.
And you know what game we're gonna cook on, right?
You
We gotta
already
talk
know.
because you called it. You said this is basically the what you say. What type of SWAC championship it
The
is? What
de
you name?
facto SWAC championship game.
You called it de facto SWAC championship, and damn it, it was. It was a very good game. It was good all the way to the end. Um,
Mm-hmm.
no, we already said North Carolina Central blew out Florida A&M. Alcorn. I don't want Coach Sip to tally get on me. Alcorn blew out Lincoln 42-0. Alabama A&M beat Mississippi Valley 45-25.
Man.
Coach, you gotta explain this shit to me. And you called it, but I was trying to. I don't like eating crow, but y'all made me eat crow. I picked Southern to beat Bethune Cookman. You said you picked against your own ball club and said Bethune Cookman most likely is going to win. Of course, you probably didn't like how they won, but you were right. They end up winning, blowing y'all out 45-14. How the hell that happened, Coach?
Well, first of all, more than anything, the coaching staff, Terrence Graves, he is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. He's not a good head coach.
Mm,
The staff isn't doing a good job, but more than anything, from a strategy standpoint, from an X's and O's standpoint, from a making adjustment standpoint, from a decision making standpoint, from a game management, a clock management, from every aspect of it, from a coaching standpoint, Terrence Graves leaves a lot to be desired. I'm not gonna lie, major shout out to Blackwater Bayou. He talked about this. I remember when they first hired him, he was like, "Man, coach, I don't want this boy as our head coach." He was like, when he was a defensive coordinator, he was trash. And sure enough, I kid you not, Southern is struggling in literally all three phases of the game. So from a decision making standpoint, you know, uh, first of all, shout out to Jay Good, and for my family, hey, Jay Good and Joseph Townsend is not the same person. Joseph Townsend
right,
went.
right.
Joseph Townsend went to Louisville, and Jay Good actually played defensive line. He went to Southern. So Jay Good and I was talking about this behind the scenes, and of course, at some point, you know, when everything's selling in his personal life, we're gonna have to get him as a regular on HBCU Fanatics. You dig? But basically, he and I already talked about how bad the roster was from top to bottom. And
Right.
shout out to HBCU game day. They talked about this. When they talked about potential coaches being fired in the SWAC. Rattler Nation and FAMU, they're not happy with James Colsey after he took over from Willie Simmons. He had a good thing, and they figured he was gonna keep it going and pretty much implement Willie Simmons' system. He didn't, and things kind of went sideways. The crazy thing about it, they homecoming this weekend, and when the players showed up, the students started booing them. But anyway,
Damn.
anyway,
Hey,
so
that's what happens when the blue HBCU, especially the
blue
SWAC,
blood,
blue
yeah,
blood start losing like this. It's gonna
yeah.
happen.
But anyway, talking about firing him, talking about Cedric Thomas being fired from Alcorn State. Mickey Joseph being fired from Grambling, and of course Terrence Graves being fired from Southern. But the issue they were saying is from a talent standpoint, all of these coaches, instead of going out like back in the gap, like, going to these different schools and going actually watch players play, so you can see them live in their living color with your naked eye, and you can see their highlights, their lowlights. You can actually talk to the coaches, actually get to know them, actually get a feel for them in terms of a player, what type of personality they have, their grades, the whole nine, the whole gamut. A lot of these coaches nowadays, they like to sit behind a computer screen at their desk and they watch like huddle footage. And in addition to watching huddle, social media clips and this, that, and the third. And a lot of these players that playing on a higher level, they might be at a Power 5 school. You get them to your program and you thinking, all right, hey, this guy gonna be this, that, and the third. I'm gonna just kind of give you an example, right? I'm gonna use
Mm-hmm.
Southern as an example. First of all, we really come to the realization that we like, man, Trey Holly, he only running the ball. Nah, let's be clear. Trey Holly is far and away the best running back that Southern has on his roster. But the most carries Trey Holly got in a single game this season is like 11. And he might, from a snap count standpoint, the max he might play is somewhere between 15 and 20 snaps a game. That's it. No more than that. Well, you know, we found out that he's on like a snap count restriction, and he's only gonna play so many snaps, because of course he won't support his team, but at the same token, he don't want to get hurt. Essentially, we knew when he came to Southern, basically he trying to compile some good footage. He done already had like a couple like 70+ yard runs. So we know once the season is over, he gonna hit the portal and there's an NIL bag waiting for him. So a team gonna give him a bag of money, and he, somebody gonna break bread with him from an NIL standpoint. So we know after the season over, he gonna be at a PWI Power 5, and more than anything, he won't play well, but at the same token, he don't want to get injured, So he on the snap count restriction. You go to Princeton Kid. He transferred from Louisiana Tech. This is like his third school, and he really hasn't. Not only has he not started, but he hasn't played anywhere he's been. He ain't even touched the field for Southern this year. And Mike Franklin, from what I'm understanding, he already graduated. I think he has like 1 or 2 years of
And
eligibility
did you
left.
say he quit the team? How
Yeah,
that
yeah,
happened?
yeah. A couple
Did
people
did
say.
he transfer or or he
I
just
mean, I
quit?
don't
What
know.
what?
I don't know the full logistics of it, but basically a handful of people that told me like, oh no, coach, he flat out quit. He said, he didn't like it at Southern, and he didn't like the situation, and basically he just quit. So I don't know if he intends to hop back into the portal and transfer somewhere else with his 1 or 2 years eligibility left. But I know if I was a coach, if I know you quit on your previous team, I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he gonna actually, because from what I understand, he graduated. I don't know what he majored in, what his degree in, but this is something he
Right.
brought up on my live stream recently, and basically was saying, like, man, this dude between UTEP and Jacksonville State, he had 200 yards total, 200 rushing yards total between both institutions. So he wasn't that guy for you to bring this guy to Southern. And realistically, I was saying, well, hey, he's gonna be a power back. Woo. But realistically, watching him play, I'm gonna be honest with you. He's by far the biggest of all the Southern University running backs. Outside of him and maybe Amari Asbury kind of in the middle. Trey Holly, Jason Gabriel, Barry Remo, they like smallish third down type backs. But in all actuality, in terms of play style, like Mike Franklin is just a bigger version of all of those smaller backs that I named, like Jason Gabriel and Barry Remo, without their elusiveness. He wants you to throw him swing passes in the flats. He runs up the middle, he trying to bounce it outside. I'm like, bro, I'm thinking he's gonna be a big power back, like 4 yards in the cloud of dust, like Lionel Nicholas was back in the gap for Southern, the late Steele Adams, may he rest in peace, or like, Gerard Sims, that kind of back. He's not that kind of back. He's the same as all the smaller backs. He's just a bigger version of them. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't end up being what they thought he was going to be. I thought he was decent. I'm not going to trash him and say he was like a squirrel, but nothing. But based on what I'm hearing, like maybe in his mind he came with some baggage or whatever. And And essentially, the bottom line, the underlying issue is the same issue that Southern is having, Grambling is having, FAMU is having, and not only that, Alcorn State is. They all having the same issue. You relying too heavily on the transfer portal. You getting players from bigger schools, and like you said, you pointed this out. They're coming down to the lower level to the SWAC, and they think it's going to be sweet. And these guys are not what we thought they would be coming into the season. So at the end of the day, I think that's the reason why James Coolsey on the hot seat. Well, not a hot seat, more like a region inferno.
Say them rounds, bro. Say them rounds.
Yeah. Oh no. I'm just saying, not just him. Cedric Thomas, Mickey Joseph, Terrence Graves. They all on the hot seat because of that.
We gonna cook
Oh
on
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
Because we technically going over the scores. Salute the J Bar. Salute family in chat. Christopher Dukes. He got the crying emoji. Salute brother. My brother Eye of the Watcher. He said, bring back the on-site network and don't worry about star ratings from these camps. I agree. And that what you just said, man. We looking in, like, if you gonna jump on this, like, look for players in the portal, watch make sure you study they tape thoroughly. Don't just be bringing in people like, for example, Mike Franklin, because he 6'2" and he's a big back, but
what 235, 230,
235. But if
225,
you look
whatever it
on,
was.
that's why I love Irv Mulligan. Cause when you put on that Wofford tape, he was running like you slap his mama. You know what I mean? And he, as you can saw, he was perfect in the SWAC. He was perfect in the SWAC. So the tape matters.
Oh no. And salute to Adrian Cook. I'm not saying he was all real or nothing. I mean, he clearly a crybaby. I mean, if I was a coach, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. But I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, clearly he not what they thought he was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's crazy, man. But yeah, y'all let me down on that one, man. But shout out to Bethune Cookman. And then Texas Southern beat Grambling by 1 point, 21-20.
Oh, and of course, this is another hot take too. In one of my one of these like 50 group chats that I'm in, Adrian Cook and quite a few of them, Christopher Dukes, Avis Heat, all us that be in all of these HBCU SWAC streets, for all these different channels, shout out to like SWAC and the Fool and Wild Wayne and different channels we be on or whatever. Grambling fans got the nerves because it was their homecoming this past weekend, and they holler, but yeah, we lost, but at least we didn't get blown out like that other team in South Louisiana. I'm like, dude, y'all throwing stones and y'all live in a glass house. Man, y'all shut up, bro. Y'all had to cheat to beat a Division II school.
Oh, y'all gonna get y'all revenge on that Bayou though.
I'm gonna keep it real.
Bayou Classic.
I'm gonna keep it real. The rest of once you get past PV, I don't know all the rest of them games are 50-50. I ain't confident they're gonna win really none of them games. FAMU garbage, Alcorn garbage. But I'm confident they could beat Grambling. If they can't beat nobody else, they could beat Grambling. So Grambling fans need to shut up.
Especially if they struggling with Kentucky State.
Y'all
definitely should beat Grambling. If y'all don't, then I'll be speechless that week, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If y'all don't beat nobody else, y'all need to be Grambling. But when you got a sub coach and a Eric Dooley coaching staff and a roster that's struggling in all three phases of the game, and a lot of your starters really, in my personal opinion, backups, and your backups not even playable. I mean, it's gonna be a struggle,
Yeah, man. Okay, so we gonna talk before we go, and we gonna talk about the game of the week, and Coach calls it say it again.
The de facto SWAC championship.
The de facto SWAC championship. Jackson State and Alabama State went to battle. Jackson State, they went back and forth. Jackson State came on top, 38-34, but Alabama State was driving and about to get the lead, but Jackson State stopped them at the goal line. Coach, but Alabama State did something that has irritated you that you saw other coaches do all throughout football. Um, Talk about it.
Well, first of all, I know people like Avis Heat and Christopher Dukes and Israel Carey. Now you're always picking against Jackson State. Yeah, I picked Alabama State because I thought Andrew Body was gonna be to pull him out the fire. He didn't. It was an instant classic. Congratulations to Jackson State for all y'all Jackson State fans that like to hit on my Jags. Congratulations to y'all. But the night before, Southern Lab hosted the Madison Prep Chargers, and the whole night Southern Lab kept running the option to the short side of the field. And I'm like, what the heck are they doing? But I couldn't really be too mad because they kept getting a lot of yards off it. Most of the time, I'm going to say probably about 65% of the time, Southern Lab kept running all their plays when it was at A.W. Mumford Stadium that night before. They kept running all their plays to the short side of the field, which was insane to me. I'm like, when I played football, we always wanted to run to the wide side of the field because you have more room to the wide side. So my broadcast partner, for those individuals that's on my channel, that's Eric Hatfield from the Louisiana All-America Sports Network, salute to him. He was like, well, Coach, maybe they keep running that play to the short side of the field, the option, because there's less traffic to that side of the field. And I'm like, as a coach and as a former player, I used to hate, because even when I was at Assumption, we always ran to the wide side of the field. Even when we ran our 2-point conversion, when we ran our rollouts, our our sprint passes, our bootlegs, whatever, we would always run our plays to the wide side of the field to give us more room. The only time we really ran to the short side of the field is when we run like ISO lead or some type of power play, like right up the gut. Brad Hill, who ended up going to ground, he was our feature back. So that was the only type of play we would run to the short side of the field. Anytime we ran the option, we ran to the wide side of the field to give ourselves more room. So it was an instant classic between Alabama State and Jackson State for Jackson State's homecoming. And the last play of the game, I see that, but they're on a certain side of the field. And I see Andrew Body, they run they run their play to the short side of the field. And I'm like, what the F are they doing? Like, Jackson State has a good defense when they really knuckle down. And you're going to run to the short side of the field? Why not just run the play to the wide side of the field to give yourself more room to operate? I mean, from a coaching standpoint, it baffles me. I don't understand what all these coaches doing in 2025, running all their plays to the short side of the field. That's stupid to me. I like to you might have less traffic to the short side of the field, but you also have a whole heck of a lot less room. I prefer to run my plays to the wide side of the field. I don't care what nobody say. That's my stance, and I'm sticking to it. You know what I'm saying?
And as you could say, Coach, and that's why we beat y'all 40-7 the next year.
Who said that?
Adrian Crook.
Yeah.
And Adrian Crook pointed and said, triple option, we ran at the numbers. Franklin K. BZ, salute, brother. He talking about when he was at Baker High.
Oh. Well, I had graduated by then. I think he went there with the big boy name who played tackle for Southern, Keidron Davis. I think he played with Keidron Davis.
Okay.
Yeah, because Keidron Davis, he was another. He was a smart dude. He was an offensive lineman at Southern. I think he did a Christian when one of his coaches at Southern. But he was cool people. I think he ended up going to grad school. I think at Tulane, and not only that, he ended up. I think he ended up. He coached someone in Baton Rouge, if I'm not mistaken, right now. But yeah, I don't like Keidron Davis was cool people. But yeah, I think he played with Keidron Davis at Baker.
Okay. Franklin in here supporting his Jackson State Tigers. Okay, salute, brother. Andrew Body versus the Coach Quinn. The I love.
Yeah, you could tell he a huge Jackson State fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, ain't nothing wrong with it. They Jackson State doing their thing, man.
Oh, he said Brandon had this left. He might be talking about Brandon Jacobs. Yeah, all right. So he didn't play with Keidron Davis. He played like that next wave. That was like after Brandon Jacobs just left. I think Jeremiah Jones was the feature back. Jeremiah Jones, That next year, Assumption was like, I think 4-0. And Jeremiah Jones got hurt and they didn't win the game, another game the rest of the season. And then Torres ended up quitting after that. So yeah. Oh yeah. He said Brad was his freshman year. All right, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. He caught after Brandon Jacobs left. He caught Jeremiah Jones senior year. That must have been after Jeremiah got hurt, because once Jeremiah got hurt, like something was trash after that. I mean, that go to show you how, they relied on feature backs, whether it was Brad Hill, Brandon Jacobs, Jeremiah Jones. After Jeremiah Jones, they went on a drought for a while after that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, y'all. Sitting there going down memory lane. Okay. Um. Uh. He said, "No, he was my left tackle. Yeah,
Oh, he
Brad
did.
was my first.
All right.
But going over the games that's coming up this weekend in the SWAC. So Mississippi Valley versus Lincoln. Mississippi Valley gonna win they what first game?
Say that again.
Mississippi Valley is playing Lincoln, so they gonna win that
Ooh.
game.
Oh, all right.
uh, Arkansas Pine Bluff is playing Grambling. I think I'm gonna go Pine Bluff this
I'm
one.
gonna go with Pine Bluff too. Hey, since GS Pooh won't talk trash, I'm going to Pine Bluff. In fact, Grambling might not win another game the rest of the season. You feel me?
Grambling pissed coached off with they smack talk.
No, bro. Y'all can't be throwing stones if y'all live in the glass house. Yeah, y'all got 3 wins, all against Division II schools. Man, shut up, bro. And you had to cheat one of them. They had to cheat Kentucky State.
Man, yeah, I ain't like that, man.
Well, we already know SWAC officials are trash, bro. Like I said, when I officiate these, not officiate, I be saying officiate. When I do commentary for these games on Friday night for the Louisiana All American Sports Network, I kid you not, these high school officials do better than SWAC officials. Now, one of my my distant relatives that officiate games, they say he a bad referee too. But the school where I don't coach anymore. I'm an administrator now, right? So I went to one of the games. I was working the gate. So the game almost over, and I see him officiating, and me and him get to talking in between plays or whatever, And he asked me for Southern, man, what them Jazz gonna do? He graduated from Southern too with the rule. So we get to talking, and I'm like, man, them SWAC officials the worst in the world. He was like, yeah, one of our officials, he rough SWAC games too. Saying to myself, he must be trash for real. But at the end of the day, like I said, man, them SWAC officials. I've been coaching, playing ball, all this for a long time. The SWAC officials got to be the worst officials I've seen in my life.
Damn,
On any
that's
level.
bad. And I know you ain't lying, because I saw a couple of games this year where the SWAC officiating was like, yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
Oh no, I mean, but see, my issue is, don't get me wrong. One thing I learned coaching. See, when I first started coaching, I used to feel like every call went against me. But as I got older in coaching and I matured, I realized like the calls balance out. If they make a bad call against you, then they're gonna make. I'm not saying they intentionally make a makeup call, or maybe they do it subconsciously, but a call gonna go in your favor. If they miss a call, then they're gonna miss a call for the other team. So my point is, it balances out. But the SWAC officials make the most egregious calls. That's the thing that make me sick. Like last year, Southern playing against Bethune, Jalen Woods came in the game or whatever, and finally Southern offense got to going, whoop the woo. And the game back and forth is tight or whatever. And they call a pass interference call on Horatio Johnson. And I'm like, all right, cool. Then the next possession, Bethune got the ball. This boy is trying to rip Chandler Whitfield's jersey off. He held him, he grabbed him, he pulled him, and then he reached up and intercepted the pass. And the referee standing right there, he ain't called nothing. And I'm thinking to myself, it's literally the exact same call going the opposite way. If you're going to call it both ways. I think I can't remember. Jackson State was playing somebody last year, whatever, and supposedly one of the referees, not the referee, one of the coaches got in the way for the opposing team or whatever, and he ended up being like a long run, and they called it back or whatever, like some kind of sideline interference call or whatever, and the coach was nowhere near the play, and they took back like a long run. So it ain't just a Southern thing, a Grambling thing, a Jackson State thing. It's just like they just trash across the board. And the irony is, I'm thinking to myself, well, they just bad like that in football. No, these SWAC officials trash in every sport I've seen. I'm like, bro, come on, bro. Like, if it was me, I couldn't be the commissioner of the SWAC because I promise you, I'll fire every last official across the board in every sport. They're that trash.
Damn. So if they so bad, like let's just put your like hypothetical and you the commissioner. Where would you hire? Like how would you rehire the let's say you fire everybody that's currently officials in the SWAC. How would you go about rehiring?
I mean, I don't care if I got to pull from other conferences or
Right.
uh, another system or something. But the thing about it is, I don't know like what type of evaluation process because even in the NFL, there's a system for evaluating officials and basically having some degree of accountability. You know what I'm saying? I think more than anything, just talking to C. Wells, shout out to him. I don't think he was able to do swag smoke because he moving to Minnesota from Baker. Basically, he was saying this. He was saying like there's no accountability, and not only that, but the SWAC, they really not trying to spend no money to get like elite level top tier officials or whatever. And I understand it might be a monetary thing, but it's to a point now. Like certain SWAC games I watched over the years, like some of these games are not watchable. All right, since we born in the LDBC, the Lions Den Boston community, we're gonna use Boston as an example. Just say they got a
Hmm.
referee and he is constantly getting involved in a fight. Neither fighter is doing like an excessive amount of holding, but the referee just won't be seen, and he keep interfering in the action, slowing the action down, getting in the way.
Right.
You know, it makes the fight unwatchable. And there's been so many games, SWAT games over the years
You know
where
what fight reminded with just a good example of what you just said, that Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker fight. That
yeah,
referee was pissing me off, man.
that's the perfect example. Like realistically, I think of course he clearly was cheating for Joshua in my personal opinion. But him interfering, not only did it prevent Joseph Parker from winning the fight, but it kind of made the fight unwatchable to a certain degree. And when the SWAC officials, I'm not gonna lie, I done seen some good SWAC games over the years. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd rather you not call nothing than make some of the bad calls they done made over the years. You know what I'm saying? The best SWAC games I've seen, like I said, when Shador was a freshman and they came to AW and Glendon McDaniel was starting quarterback of Southern. That was like the best game I saw that whole season. And the thing that made it good was the fact that SWAC officials just kind of swallowed their whistles that game, and they just kind of let them play. They really didn't intervene in it a whole lot. And I think that's the main thing we need. We need, look, if you go, instead of making bad calls, I'd rather you call nothing. You know what I'm saying? And,
Right.
and that's the problem. It's like, all right, you made this terrible call against Southern, this holding call on Horatio Johnson. I mean, don't get me wrong, he hands it. I'm not saying it wasn't even a defensive holding, a PI call on it. My issue is you got the exact same call going the other way against Bethune-Cookman, and you standing right there and you don't even make the call. So my point is, if you're gonna call it both ways. If not, don't call nothing. That's my issue with him, and that's the issue I've always had with him. And like I said, it done made a lot of SWAC games over the years not watchable. And like I said, it's not just the fact that you miss a call. I'd rather you miss a call than make an extremely egregious call, especially in a big game. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was glad this weekend that Alabama State game, Jackson State game didn't come down to like one bad call. I mean, don't get me wrong. They always gonna make bad calls because they trash SWAC officials, but at least it didn't like ruin the game. And not only that, I was glad that the two of them they didn't start fighting at the end of the game like they did two of the last three previous years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you know how I am about HBCUs getting in fights after the games. That's why I hated it when Jackson State Southern. I think Jackson State hadn't beat Southern in like 8 years or whatever, and it's Deion's second year, And man, hey, they tried to plant that GSU flag at midfield at AW Memphis Stadium. Man, them linemen for Southern, defensive linemen, man, they're like, man, we ain't having that. Y'all ain't playing no GSU flag at midfield, AW Memphis Stadium. Man, they pushed that boy. Man, them boys got the scuffing. I said, oh man, y'all gonna ruin this damn good game, but y'all fighting after the game. But I'm glad the media didn't blow it out of proportion because WEFB and WBRZ they're known for that bull crap. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't blow it out of proportion, and Dion he kind of took accountability for it. He said his players need to be better. But from a coaching standpoint, from a Southern standpoint, I'm like, look, if y'all hold on for the last minute 30 seconds, like you ain't got to worry about these ninjas trying to celebrate on your field and trying to plant their flag at midfield of your stadium. You know what I'm saying? So of course, we talked about this on the Southern Baller Show. JB, he had a opposing perspective, but my point of view is like, hey, bro, like, HBCU shouldn't be doing all these fighting after the game because when PWIs do it, it passed through a news cycle and they keep it pushing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I definitely hear you, man. And salute to
But no,
Jada.
but I'm not gonna lie, it definitely was an instant classic though.
It was. It was like you called it. You called it, man. You said this basically the you
De
know
facto, the de
de
facto
facto
SWAC championship game.
SWAC championship, and they played it like it. Cause I don't see. I could be wrong. Cause the SWAC is weird like that. I don't see nobody in the West beating. Could be Alabama State or Jackson State.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I see both of them pretty much, running.
Not even Prairie View ain't them.
Man, hell no, man. Prairie View. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you. They talk about this in my chat. They say Prairie View is not that good. They struggle with Northwestern because I saw a clip in like a picture in one of the SWAC Facebook groups I'm in, and basically they showed the records of the Louisiana teams. Of course, LSU had the best record. I think another school, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Southeastern or whatever, had a decent record, but most of the schools in Louisiana, and this is the crazy thing about it, like ULM and Grambling was like in the middle, and all the Grambling wins came against D2 schools. But I'm not gonna lie, look at teams like Northwestern and Southern, another, I think maybe Nickel State or one of them, like all of them had like one win. And I'm like, dang, bro. So not only is the SWAC struggling, but Louisiana schools in general struggling. And the crazy thing about it is, across town in Tigerland, like a lot of LSU fans, they're not happy with Brian Kelly as we speak. And just like at Southern, we want Terrence Graves out like ASAP Rocky. If LSU don't make the playoffs, yeah, they definitely want Brian Kelly out. But the only difference is they got money to burn and they got money to throw away. They wouldn't mind like firing Brian Kelly and paying him millions and millions of dollars just to go away to buy him out. Whereas Southern, you know, hiring Eric Dooley and having to pay him that money, I think from a financial standpoint, it kind of sets Southern back in terms of this coaching carousel that we might have at the end of the season.
Yes, sir. And salute to brother Jada 6, man. We're just talking about you, man. He's one of the hosts of Big Red, Big Boy Talk. Y'all make sure. And he also has his own channel, Jada 6, on everything. So you make sure you support him.
Yeah, Adrian Cook, I agree. I don't think Prairie View that good, but at the same token, Southern struggling literally in all three phases of the game. It's like, come on, man. And Kenny Lee Pham wasn't a world beater to begin with. He got hurt this weekend against Bethune-Cookman. On top of that, you got the defense. Realistically, the defensive line, they look like Kelby Givens and three subs. And really, not Horatio Johnson. The secondary nicked up. Herman Bristol the third pretty much been, in my opinion, like the best player in the secondary, but the secondary done struggled. I know they're battling injuries. I don't know what happened to Eric Reed Jr. It's almost like he don't exist no more. I don't know why he ain't playing. Maybe he hurt too. I don't know what the deal is with him. But right now, it's like Kelby Givens, Mike Jones Jr., Vincent Page Jr., like the three best players by far on Southern's defense. Southern offensive line is struggling. Jalen Woods, I don't know if he angling for a medical red shirt, but clearly he won't play. The coaching staff not letting him play. I don't know what the situation is with him. Trey Holly on the snap count restriction. And basically Southern struggling in all three phases of the game, especially offensively. I think the most talent is on offense. But offensively, Southern really has no identity. outside of Trey Holly getting a long
So
run or so. You
so
know.
with all you saying, so basically you just do you think y'all got a chance against Prairie A&M this weekend?
Uh, I think they got a chance, but I still pick PV to win though. To be truthful,
I
you know, because
I ain't gonna lie, I picked PV too after y'all done make me look bad out here in
Boy,
these
I mean,
streets.
but I told you what it was last week, though, bro. I
I
told you
try to
what it
get
was off the
y'all.
flap.
I thought and you warned me in the past, man. You said that Bethune Cookman, they be getting these, they be pulling for what's left out that talent in Florida. After all the PWI schools and picked all the Power Five talent out of there, they still picking those speedsters out there, some athletes out there in Florida. Um, so you warned me about that, but I thought y'all still could edge them out, but y'all got blown out by 'em. I'm like, damn. So
But this the crazy thing about it is though. I mean, the irony is, if you look at the beginning of last season before the season started, most of their players that transferred, from the bigger schools
anytime
came on.
86.
It came on the defensive side of the ball, but right now Bethune Cookman is more of an offensive team. From a running standpoint, they can't stop a nosebleed in the running game. Southern, for whatever reason, they started Cameron McCoy. I mean, that's why I say Terrence Graves is a
Damn,
terrible
Adrian
coach.
Cook, because Adrian, now you and Adrian Crook and with Jay Good, y'all stomped down Southern. When you had Adrian Cook, was like, nigga, I don't know. That's bad, man. That's
Oh no, I'm
bad.
gonna lie. See that boy at 67, man. They need to get him out of there, bro. If he the best, like defense, one of the best defensive tackles you got on your roster, man. Hey, bro, your defensive line is terrible. Man, that boy is bad. But
Who
anyway,
said he? Wait a minute. Who said he's the best?
no. Well, I mean, he started. He started. He had started the entire season. Started the entire season. So that's what I'm saying. He got to be one of your two better. I mean, of course, I'm not gonna lie. Zach Yusin don't like the world on fire to me either. I mean, I think he's very unimpressive at times too. And not only that, considering this dude is like a super senior against Jackson State, his helmet get knocked off. This dude still trying to go full throttle, trying to sack Jacoby Morgan. I'm like, bro, you are stupid, bro. Like, come on, bro. You cannot make these type of mistakes in a game of this magnitude and get Southern. You got Jackson State backed up. You got your helmet knocked off. You still trying to sack Jacoby Morgan, and you get an unsportsmanlike penalty for playing without your helmet on. Guys, like, come on, bro. You a senior. You cannot make these type of mistakes, bro. But the fact that
Hey,
67 is starting a defensive tackle, that tell me everything I need to know about Southern's interior defensive line and Southern defensive line
right.
in general. Like me and Jay Good said, I'm not gonna lie. On that opposite end, they miss Jelani Davis big time. The fact that he ended up going to Kent State, I'm like, dang, bro. And not only that, but they missed Devin Cotton and Willie Miles in the middle, and Darius Harry on the opposite end. So realistically, those four guys from last year with Kelby Givens, like your defensive line would be so much better. The defensive line this year, minus Kelby Givens, it's like three substitute defensive linemen in my personal opinion.
I see.
67 is not even playable to me.
I see, man, and man, Franklin YT3VU, man, stop being greedy. Y'all loading that
But see, this the
backfield.
thing. This the
Y'all
thing.
don't need Trey Holly.
This the thing. Franklin don't understand. Trey Holly is on the snap count restriction anyway, so he would only get maybe about 10 carries at Jackson State anyway. So I mean, the most times he done ran the ball this year, I think he got like 11 carries in one game. That's the most he's received. So he don't want to get hurt. I mean, at least he did like Mike Franklin. He hasn't tapped out on his team. He didn't give up on him. But at the same token, I mean, of course, he by far the most talented and the best back Southern has on his roster. But if he only gonna run the ball like 11 times a game, like how much could he really offer you? And like you said, Jackson State already loaded at running back too. I mean, Southern at the beginning of the season, like they was loaded. I still think they got a lot of talent, but when you take away those two backs there, you know, I don't know what's going on with Amari Asbury. I really haven't seen him play. Clearly, Princeton K, he ain't as good as I thought he would be. But Jason Gabriel, Barry Remo, those guys got to get more touches because they done played already. You know what I'm saying? At least
Yeah,
they
man.
coming back from last year.
I hear you, man. Let me finish these scores, bro. So uh Virginia Lynchburg is gonna get blown out by Texas Southern.
Yeah, Texas Southern
Uh,
gonna win.
Alcorn versus Florida A&M.
Woo! I'm not gonna lie. That's a hard one there because both of them only have one win. Both of them struggling. Both Cedric Thomas and James Cooley in the hot seat. More than likely, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. Both of them probably gonna get fired. If I was FAMU, I wouldn't fire James Cooley unless I had an athletic director in place. It's hard. It's FAMU homecoming. I'm gonna go FAMU.
I got FAMU as well. Alcorn did not impress me when I saw him.
Hey, FAMU don't impress me either.
No, they don't. But I think FAMU got enough to edge it out. But let's see what's going on in the standings in the SWAC, man.
Man, it is Jackson State, Alabama State, and everybody else.
Pretty much, man. Pretty
And
much.
if
But
you look at the
let
West
me.
side, Prairie View might be number one in the West, but hey, that's like saying, hey, the East side, the varsity, and the West side, the JV. I don't even say JV. I'm gonna say the freshman team. You know what I'm saying?
Not the freshman team. Damn.
Oh man, I'm telling you, bro.
Damn. Well, you are right. Jackson State is on the east side of the SWAC. It's 5-1.
Christopher
Under
Duke
them,
picked Alcorn State. I can see that, but I'm still going FAMU.
I'm not Christopher Dukes. I'm not. I can see it. Definitely see it happening. But I don't trust this Braves ball club.
Yeah, and I mean,
FAMU is having a rough go of it too. But I think FAMU can edge these Braves out.
and not only that, it's homecoming. And I don't know if I said this earlier. For homecoming, they got their little pep rally, or whatever. The FAMU players showed up, and the FAMU students start booing them, and I'm like, what? God. So yeah, I ain't gonna lie, they want James Cook out of there bad. See,
Oh
I
yeah,
from
they just won they won the SWAC championship a couple of years ago.
well, I
So
mean
yeah,
that's the thing about it. I guess they're looking
they
at
don't
Jackson State.
tolerate that.
Yeah, I guess they're looking at Jackson State and they say, well, hey, TC Taylor took what Deion Sanders had and he elevated it, whereas James Cozy took what Willie Simmons had and ran it in the ground. So maybe they're
Damn,
looking at that.
damn.
But I'm not gonna lie, I would boo Terrence Graves. I wouldn't boo the players. Oh, and before I let you finish, I know I like to go on these rants, bro. I'm sick of Terrence Graves getting these doggone press conferences and having more excuses than a pregnant woman. Hey, we got two new quarterbacks. Jamar Jones had to leave because he had family issues, and keep the faith up. The players playing. No, man, we don't want to hear that, bro. We want results. I don't want to hear all these excuses. You got more excuses than a pregnant woman, and you just like a politician. You say all the right stuff, but don't nothing change, bro. I don't want to hear that, bro. My bad, bro. Keep going.
Oh, yeah, we gonna get into it, man. Uh, so just rounding it out, man. Bethune Cookman is third. They're 3-0. They're actually tied with Alabama State as far as in the conference, 2-1. They're 3-0. Alabama A&M is 3-0, but they're 1-2 in the conference. Uh, no, I'm reading it wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. So, Alabama State is 4-2. Bethune Cookman is 3-4. Alabama A&M is 4-3. Florida A&M is 1-4, and Mississippi Valley is 0-5. They're gonna win their first game this week though. This weekend, they're definitely gonna win their first game. Prairie View A&M is 4-2 in the West. Texas Southern is 3-3. Pine Bluff is 2-3. Grambling is 3-3. Alcorn is 1-5, and Southern is also 1-5.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Nobody in West can. When the SWAC championship happen, y'all, it's probably gonna be a competitive game in the first half, but in the second half,
More like the first quarter, you mean?
I'm being nice. You right. I'm trying to be nice. Yeah, you're right. It's probably gonna be competitive in the first quarter or the first half. But Jackson State probably gonna run over whoever coming out the West.
Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, even Alabama State fans talking trash to Jackson State fans. I'm like, bro, they beat y'all, man. Hey, bro. Y'all gotta let them have that one, bro.
Yeah, they did. They did.
No, but I'm saying they still like after the fact, they still talking trash and bragging. You know, I'm like, bro, they beat y'all, man. Like, how is this even a discussion?
Hey, y'all bragging on being number two. Okay.
No, actually, they still talking trash. Like, hey, this. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but they still like
How about they
bragging on Jackson.
almost came back and beat them? That's basically the angle they coming at. They got.
No, the angle they coming at is like we still a better team.
Hey, yeah, I hear you.
Well,
Yeah, but they,
another
they
thing too.
definitely talented. They definitely talented. It's just that y'all didn't win. Y'all didn't
But
win the game.
but another thing too. I think after this, I think there's gonna be an outcry. It's kind of low key been one, not a huge one. More people are angling for the two best teams to play in the SWAC championship as opposed to East and West. I ain't really with that, but I mean, each his own. Because you're gonna have ups and downs. Because guess what? They're gonna be points where the East gonna be weak and the West gonna be way better. You know what I'm saying? So, you can't do it like that as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, man. Big Red said the Bengal wide receiver got Joe Flacco looking legit. Yeah, yeah. That's how he won the Super Bowl. When you put weapons, elite weapons around Joe, Joe look better than what he is.
Yeah, he still ain't no Joe Burrow, but that's another story.
Absolutely not. Yeah, he's just the backup. But anyway, let's get into it, Coach. What you've been waiting for. A lot of ball clubs in the SWAC are not doing good. Where to the point where a lot of coaches are in danger not making it at the end of the season. So we can talk about the Alcorn's coach
Cedric Thomas,
Cedric Thomas and James Cozy for Florida A&M.
Mickey
Uh,
Joseph for
Mickey
Grambling,
Joseph from Grambling.
Terrence Graves for Southern ought
Uh,
to be at the
what's
top of
the
that
brother
list.
from Arkansas Pine Bluff?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if they're gonna ask him. Uh,
I think they need to give him more time. Everybody knew Pine Bluff being a doormat. Same thing with Terrell Buckley. I think that they need to give him more time because it's gonna
well,
take a couple of years to get that program up and running.
yeah. Alonzo Hampton, but
Alonso happening, yeah.
this the thing about it though. Uh, Pine Bluff and Valley ain't no HBCU Blue Bloods.
Right.
Southern, Grambling, and FAMU are really to a certain degree. I'll probably say over the last maybe 15 years, Alcorn State is. So, you know, expectations are much higher at these institutions as opposed to Pine Bluff. So, I mean, I could see them firing him. I wouldn't. And realistically, I think because you don't have an athletic director
Hold
in
on, Coach.
place.
What does Franklin YT3VU mean? He said get rid of the divisions.
No, but basically, he's saying the same thing I was saying in terms of basically they would want Alabama State and Jackson State to play in a SWAC championship game. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay, okay.
I I mean I mean I'm gonna be honest with you. There were years where you know the West stronger than the East and the East stronger than the West. So I think at the end of the day it balances out. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, kind of like if you use the NFL, there were years where guess what, the NFC dominated the AFC for so many years. You know what I'm saying? And then it flip flop. Same thing in the NBA. There were years where the Eastern Conference was dominant and the Western Conference was weak, and then it flip flop where the East is weak and the West is strong. So I mean, I think at the end of the day it balances out. Now we can't see it now. There was a point where the West was stronger than the East, and there's gonna be a point again where the East gonna be weaker and the West gonna be stronger. So I,
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day it's gonna balance out. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'll probably say over about the last years or so, yeah, the East have been a lot stronger than the
Yeah,
West. You know
they've
what
been a
I'm saying?
lot stronger. Yeah, I agree. Um, uh, I agree with that, Franklin. I think even though they've been on the losing side, Valley has been. You can see a big improvement. So they got. I think they got something in Terrell Buckley. They just need to just let him give him the key to the whole football program. I know they're limited, but whatever, because he have access to his NFL uh, um, colleagues and everything. So let him do what he want. Don't butt in to that program. Um, cause you can see them boys they trying.
Yeah, and
Chris,
I mean, even with
go
Chris
ahead.
Dishman, even with Chris Dishman at Texas Southern, I mean, it takes time to build a program.
Yeah, with him too.
I think Texas Southern. Don't get me wrong. All right, we just gonna say for argument's sake, just say they might be winning the same amount of games, but I think they're consistently more competitive than they've been in past. Like I said, your win total might be the same, but they got a lot more fight in them on a consistent basis. So I think that's the thing. And even like Christopher Duke said, in terms of get rid of the divisions thing, man, at the end of the day, like, hey, that hasn't been a real talking point until recently because the West is so bad compared to the East. But in years past, man, this wasn't even a real conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm getting rid of divisions, like we want the MEAC to add more damn teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, I mean, you got to realize, really, FAMU and Bethune came from the MEAC, so that's
right?
part of the problem. I mean, and plus, North Carolina A&T and Hampton left.
No, AT suffering from their decision. They should have
I no,
stayed
no, no.
their ass.
Well, you got to realize at one point, you went up. They went up to FBS at one point,
I
and
remember
they ended
that.
up coming back down. They suffered from that decision too. So at the end of the day, I never understood why HBCUs always think the white man ice is colder. I'm gonna keep it real with you. If it was me, I would all HBCUs, and I know Adrian Crook said this the thing. Like he was like, the Boombox Classic is not a thing when it's at A.W. Mumford Stadium, people just Field. That's only a Jackson thing for the bands. But this the point. Whether we talk about the Circuit City Classic, the SWAC MEAC Challenge, the this classic, the that classic. I remember a couple of years, Tulane, they kind of wanted to get a little boost in attendance before they moved to Yeoman Stadium or whatever. They played against Southern 2 years in the Superdome, and they call it the Big Easy Classic because they know, guess what? Southern fans coming to New Orleans. So guess what? They came to New Orleans and of course Tulane beat up on Southern them 2 years. One year they had Patrick Ramsey as their starting quarterback. The other year they had J.P. Lossman. Both of them really didn't do nothing in the NFL, but they still NFL quarterbacks though. You know what I'm saying? And Southern got a lead in both games, and then after that, guess what? Tulane made their adjustments. Pete Richardson and them didn't, and they got their doors blown off. You know what I'm saying? And after that, that was the end of the Big Easy Classic. Even when it came when Southern instead of Southern, because Southern was known for traveling, and of course Jackson State fans gonna come to the vet. It's a big event every time they go to Jackson. So what Southern did for a while, instead of playing at AW, they'll play at the Superdome, and we thinking it's gonna be just as big as the Bayou Classic, but it wasn't. Bayou Classic having like 60,000 fans or whatever, but when it was in New Orleans, you might get like 44, 45,000 fans. So what Southern did, instead of playing their home game at A.W. Mumford, they will play their home game at the vet because it's gonna be a bigger crowd. So I'm like, nah, man, I ain't for that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know it's a big event when you go to Jackson, but at the same token, it's a home game for Southern. Let's keep it a home game. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you want to go to New Orleans, it's cool because I'm not gonna lie. I used to see a lot of Jackson State flags in New Orleans or even in Baton Rouge. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have a home game at home. But at the end of the day, these kind of things they balance out to me. Whether you talking about getting rid of the divisions, this team being the power. Because even now, like recently, Southern smacking Grambling. Man, there was a point where especially when Eddie Robinson, A.W. Mumford died, and Eddie Robinson was on top of the SWAC. Man, Grambling beat Southern for years and years and years, and then P. Richardson come, and Eddie Robinson fall off, and Southern was beating Grambling for years and years and years. So all of these things are cyclical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, man. Teams had a run, then they fall off, and then next thing you know, the team that usually the doormat is more competitive. So you never know. A couple of years we might see Valley on top if they smart enough to keep a coach.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, Christopher Dukes. Like Adrian Crook said, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I just started calling it the Boombox Classic recently. I mean, it just was, Southern. I mean, Southern and Jackson State, or Jackson State and Southern. The Boombox Classic, like he said, it became more of a band thing, and it's something I guess is a bigger deal in Jackson. I never called it the Boombox Classic till recently. You know what I'm saying? So, because everything, like I said, you know, the Sonic Boom of the South, the Human Jukebox, Sonic Boom of the South, they made it a thing, and that's why I started calling it the Boombox Classic. But even when Southern was beating Jackson State, hell, in '95 when I went to the vet, hell, I wasn't calling it no Boombox Classic. I was like, hey, Southern and Jackson State. So I mean, I don't know. I think Adrian Cook right in that degree is a bad thing. So I mean, I don't know. But just to kind of talk about the coaches thing real quick, you know, uh, for those that came from my channel or whatever, basically we talked about like potential head coaches that's going to replace Terrence Graves and James Coolsey and Cedric Thomas and Mickey Joseph. On our on this show, HBCU Fanatics last week, we talked about, since Coach O made an appearance at Grambling, and he talking about he want to get back into coaching, he'll do whatever. We talked about Coach O. James Franklin got fired from Penn State. We talked about him. Would he make an appearance in the SWAC? I don't think so, because, he getting millions from Penn State in terms of his buyout. We talked about Deshaun Foster at UCLA. And we talked about other people like Art Browse and Kevin Sumlin or whatever. And we talked about people like Teddy Bridgewater, who I call Teddy Two Gloves. We talked about Quinn Gray, KJ Black, Matt Leon, former Southern assistant. But of course, my stance on white coaches in the SWAC. I know Alcorn State fans and people in the SWAC like, hey, the white head coach from Alcorn, he won the SWAC. Man, I love, hey, bro. Just because one HBCU did it and it had success, you only got a limited amount of head coaching jobs in the NFL. You only got a certain amount in college football. And for a white coach to come over to the HBCU realm and become a head coach and win the SWAC, I couldn't stand it when it was happening at Alcorn State to keep it a buck. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of coaches probably going to get fired at the end of the season. Probably 4 easy, maybe as many as 5 or 6. But,
So let me ask you, and I probably know what you're going to say. Which coach show enough deserve to get fired right now?
Oh, hell, that's easy money. That's Terrence Graves. Easy. Nah, the thing about FAMU situation is the fact that they don't have an athletic director. So, I think it's kind of hard to fire him. But of course, we talked about, Teddy Bridgewater. We talked about Quinn Gray. Those two guys probably have FAMU written all over them. Cedric Thomas. Of course, they ended up pivoting to him because, Fred McNair, he tried to put Texas Southern and Alcorn State in a bidding war against each other. And, for Texas Southern to hire somebody, you need a unanimous board vote. And some people wanted Fred McNair, other people wanted Andre Johnson from the Houston Texans. And Chris Dishman.
That's what I'm about to ask you. Is Andre Johnson still trying to coach?
Well, honestly, I think that was a Texas Southern thing. You got to realize, Jay Good talked about it. Joe Town talked about it. Like, certain guys fit in certain places. Mike Vick fit at Norfolk State, right?
Yeah, he do, because he's from that area.
Deshaun Jackson fits at Delaware State because he played for the Eagles and he was a beloved player for the Eagles. Eddie George fit at Tennessee State. So those players are perfect fits, at those locations. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I think Andre Johnson was purely Texas Southern fit, so close to Houston or whatever. And I think that's the reason why Chris Dishman is a fit at Texas Southern as well. Just like Terrell Buckley is a fit at Mississippi Valley. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now
Yeah. Right.
somebody like that's why I say Quinn Gray and Teddy Bridgewater would be a perfect fit at FAMU. And in terms of Southern, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sick of all of the recycled SWAC coaches. I think they need to go outside of the SWAC in terms of getting all of these old recycled SWAC coaches like Fred McNair and Terrence Graves and Eric Dooley. All of these guys are like SWAC lifers. And in addition to that, this obsessive need to go get somebody from the Pete Richardson player or coaching tree. You know what I'm saying? So even though as much as I like somebody like a Jabbar Luke as a potential head coach, he's assistant coach at the University of Florida. Uh, I mean, he's still, some of these guys like Eric Dooley and their whole coaching staff right now. I'm sick of all these recycled SWAC coaches. So that's why, I would prefer somebody like a Quinn Gray, maybe even somebody like KJ Black or, some of the other coaches I talked about on my show last night. Because, some of these guys that, just saying, hey, we want a guy that played for Pete Richardson, that coached under Pete Richardson. Man, and of these guys working out, like the Terrence Graves, the Eric Dooleys. These guys ain't working out, so let's go outside of that. And not only that, but we don't want another Stump Mitchell in terms of, hey, this is a good old boy, network, brother-in-law type hire. Hey, he my people, so I'm going to hire him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand networking plays a major role. Even if you look at like the LDBC, if I needed something, I'm going to go within my circle. If I needed something, I'm going to go within Jaguar Nation or whatever. But when it comes to the best interest of my program, I'm going to do what's in the best interest of my program. I ain't going to, like, Terrence Graves hiring Mark Frederick because, hey, that's my people. Man, look, bro. If I'm going to hire somebody, I want to be sure they qualify for the job and they're going to do a good job. I'm not going to let my personal relationship get in the way of what's in the best interest of my team or my program. You know what I'm saying? Like Eric Dooley had Bashawn McCray over Glenda Bub McDaniel because he had a close personal relationship with Benny and Bashawn McCray. Man, look, bro, Southern need to get rid of that good old boy network, that brother-in-law. Like, hey, you my people, you my frat brother, you my whatever. I'll scratch your back, you scratch my back. Man, F that. So I think more than anything, I think all these institutions won't get it right. But from a Southern standpoint, if it was me, not only would you get rid of Terrence Graves, but you would get rid of Roman Banks. Roman Banks was a very good basketball coach at Southern. He has left a lot to be desired in terms of an athletic director. And then not only that, I'm not gonna lie, he good in terms of, networking and community outreach and fundraising and all those type of things. But when it comes to football, in fact, really he does good in the small budget sports. But the problem in Southern is the revenue sport is football. Southern is a football school. Don't get me wrong. Under Ben Job and Roman Banks and other coaches, Southern had some good basketball teams over the years. But Southern is a football school. Southern had won a SWAC championship since 2013 in football. And then in addition to that, like, you done had a chance to hire, a couple coaches or whatever. And his coaches, like, he don't have a clue when it comes to football. So if you can't get it done in football, man, hey, I think it's just time for them to part ways with him. But at the end of the day, like, all these institutions, whether we talking about Southern, Grambling, FAMU, Alcorn State, they got difficult decisions to make. Do you want to go get a celebrity coach? Do you want to go get a D2 guy? What approach you want to take? Do you have the finances to hire this guy? And even if you do have the finance to hire this guy, do you have the finance to hire this guy and a good competent coaching staff around him? So this is not only something that Southern needs to consider, but also FAMU, Alcorn State, and Grambling. Like, all of these, you need to, evaluate and assess your process of doing things. That's why I say when it comes to Southern, the way they hired Stump Mitchell, the way they pivoted to Dawson Odoms, the way they hired Eric Dooley, the way they hired Terrence Graves, I think Southern, from a structural standpoint, like, they just need to burn it all down, tear it all down, and rebuild from the ground up because, the way they hire coaches, the way they go about hiring their staff, like, it really needs to be reevaluated.
I ain't gonna lie. This is my fantasy coaching staff, man. Two positions, man. Especially to fix that quarterback position. I'll hire, like you said, somebody like a KJ Black, who I believe is currently on the Atlanta Falcons staff.
Mm-hmm.
And as a quarterback coach, I'll bring in Devontae Kincaid. Once upon a time, he was on the Grambling staff, but something happened there. But just as a quarterback coach, bring in Devontae Kincaid. What you think?
I mean, I think that sounds like an excellent 1-2 punch, but truthfully speaking, would they have the finances to pull that off? Because realistically, in the ideal world, somebody pointed this out in my chat. Whether you're talking about E.W. Mumford, whether you're talking about Marino Chasm, or whether you're talking about Pete Richardson, like Southern coaches of the past already had names. So in a perfect world, you would hire maybe Trey Oliver and his entire staff, or maybe you would hire Berry and his entire staff in a perfect world. But clearly, they don't have the kind of finances to do that. So you might have to go, the D2 ranks, and hire one of these, Division II guys that, may want that opportunity, to make a come up. You know what I'm saying? So, who knows? But I know more than anything, they need to reevaluate their process, the way they do it. So, maybe you hire somebody like Terenzo Quinn or Teddy Keaton, that type of guy. But more than anything, they need to get rid of, get away from this. Hey, we want somebody that done played for Pete Richardson. We want somebody that coached under Pete Richardson. We want somebody that's a SWAC lifer. That's why I'm cool with these schools going outside the SWAC. And more than anything, I think I can't speak for FAMU and for Alcorn State and Grambling, but Southern really needs to evaluate the way they hire coaches, and in addition to that, the way they evaluate talent and the way they develop talent. Like all of these things need to be assessed in terms of Southern University's athletic program.
I agree 100%. And man, Franklin YT3VU said the main reason why I would not want a white coach in the conference, if they do good, they would have the opportunity to move up faster due to the people they know. Yeah. So that's what your coach was just saying. Yeah, because you know what I mean. It's not the same thing with brothers. uh, if either you got to be a SWAC lifer to be recycled around through the SWAC, or you got to know somebody. You know what I mean? As
And,
a brother.
and I mean,
Well, a
look at
lot of these white coaches, all they can do, all they'll, you know, reach out to Billy Bob, was working at, defensive coordinator at Kent State, and your wife is, his wife is cool with my wife, so I'm gonna bring you onto my staff. You know, nine times, a lot of times that's not the same thing for the brothers, man. So
well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. You got other SWAC coaches like Mark Orlando, who's the offensive coordinator at Southern. He done been a SWAC lifer too now. So, I mean, but of course, Alcorn State, uh, white head coach, he ended up winning the SWAC. He ended up moving up. But that's why a lot of Jaguar Nation, they're against the celebrity coaches like a Dion type. They're against them kind of guys because they think, because even at one point, Kevin Sumner was like the top candidate to be Southern's next head coach, but they ended up going the Eric Dooley route. The reason why, like, they're against some of these celebrity coaches is because they think if they had success, they would do like Deion Sanders and Eddie George and just use it as a stepping stone to a
can I
bigger
be
bigger
honest with you,
job.
Coach? I think Grambling is paying for that Hugh Jackson firing, in
No, I'm
my
not gonna lie. I'm
opinion.
gonna be honest with you. I think they pulled the trigger too quick on him. I really
Exactly.
felt,
You took the, go ahead, take it, because you
yeah,
took the
I
words
really
right out
feel
my
like
mouth.
they was getting ready to turn a corner. But when you got big time alums and boosters and people like Doug Williams, I think that's part of the issues Mickey Joseph done had. It's been a lot of pressure on him to win, and you got a lot of, he the chef right now, but you got a lot of old chefs, trying to come in the kitchen and stir the pots and this, that, and the third, instead of just letting him be and let him do his thing. Because I'm not gonna lie, that's one thing. Even Southern coaches have not been, had in terms of like player development, they really haven't been synonymous for being the best. But in terms of evaluating talent and getting the best guys there, oh, they've been spot on with that over the years, and you're not even doing that. But one thing Mickey Joseph was synonymous for is being able to recruit. That's why he done had these FBS jobs at bigger programs, and he done been like, recruiting coordinator, that type of thing. So just somebody synonymous for being, good at recruiting and recruiting well. That tell you a lot of what you need to know. If that's what you're known for, you're not getting jobs in that area. You know, I think it's the issues that Grambling have too. I think there's structural issues also, and I think it's bigger than a Mickey Joseph issue. But like you said, I think if they were stuck with Hugh Jackson, I think he was getting ready to turn the corner. I think Miles Crawley would have been better off last year had Hugh Jackson stayed.
Yeah, man, and Kate, I know Franklin. I'm just is my fantasy coach for Southern.
Well, I
KJ,
mean,
yeah,
he's saying that. Guess what? Stump Mitchell left the NFL, so and of course,
it's definitely possible, but
but I'm not. I'm nah. Don't get me
but
wrong. Stump Mitchell
I
didn't pan out, but he left the NFL.
yeah, I hear you, but I don't think it's likely. But I'm not saying it's not impossible. And I, the watcher, I do remember that white coach of Norfolk State a couple of years. I don't remember his name, but I do remember that white coach at Norfolk State. And another person that was fired um too premature, and I always say Kendrick Wade. Guess where he at now? Mississippi Valley fired Kendrick Wade too prematurely, in my opinion. Guess where he at now, Coach?
Where you at?
Memphis Tigers. He helping he helping Memphis man. Oh, excuse me, Memphis Tigers. Memphis man. That he's an offensive line coach.
Well, I mean, even like Mickey Joseph, if Brown were to fire him,
Excuse me,
some
wide
F,
receiver coach. Excuse me.
some FBS school gonna snatch Mickey Joseph up. Mickey Joseph ain't gonna be out of work for long. I promise you that. In fact, realistically, he'll probably make more money getting fired by Grambling and going to FBS program. You know what I'm saying? And Christopher Duke saying that Southern is a band school. Well, guess what? At one point, we were saying the same thing about Jackson State.
Yeah, man. So like we just said, a lot of these coaches, man, a lot of these programs, especially if you losing, you known to be a doormat. Don't be so quick to fire some of these coaches who got a good method and a good foundation, like Coach Kendrick Wade or Hugh Jackson, that's been in the NFL. Pump your brakes. You know what I mean? Pump your brakes.
Well,
Um,
another thing too, like you said, they really got to evaluate, who they hire or whatever the case may be. But in addition to that, not only, you got to understand when you come to these blue blood programs as a coach, you got to understand they want you to win and they want you to win right now. So you got to understand you're going to be under pressure to win. And you just can't
it,
fall to the temptation of just getting a bunch of.
you right, coach, and you 100% right. But what I don't get is the mindset with those like alumni, like the previous coach before they brought in like a Hugh Jackson or Kendrick Wade was bringing in years of bullshit as far as recruits. So
Well, I'm not
now
going to lie. I'm
you
going to be
gotta,
honest with you. Grambling, then Project 5 did well at one point.
yeah,
Uh,
Project Fives did well. He brought
uh,
in the Devontae Kincaid, yeah.
Yeah, who else? Del Williams did well at one point, but there's always some kind of like behind the scenes type issues or whatever, and they
And that
always.
Project Fives firing, I don't get to this day.
Well, I mean, even with the whole Doug Williams situation, with the mutiny and him having his son as the head coach, DJ Williams, and then basically there was mutiny on the team, and so I'm not gonna lie, like Grambling had some like real horrible like behind the scenes type crap over the years. And for whatever reason, they just can't ever get it right. You know what I'm saying?
He said the former coach of Valley was let go because of off-field stuff.
Well, I mean, like I said, Brandon had that issue a lot over the years too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Jay Hopkins up at Southern. Okay, okay. Yeah, well, we gonna see. Somebody, we say all that to say this, ladies and gentlemen. Some of these coaches ain't gonna make it. and I have to agree with Coach Terrence Gray's definitely gonna be one of them, in my opinion.
Oh no, I'm not gonna
He,
lie. I'm down. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Depending on if and how bad Southern lose Saturday, hey, he might need Southern University Police Department, East Baton Rouge Police, and state troopers in Louisiana to escort him around because guess what? Hey, people gonna want his head on the platter come Saturday night. So he talking all this good stuff. Talking, man, keep the faith. The players playing hard and all this bull jive. Hey, hey, you
oh, he
better
was
turn stuff
saying
around.
right. He was saying Jay Hopkins ended up at Southern Met, so he was just giving an example of coaches that was at HBCUs. They moving on to bigger. They were actually good coaches that the programs just ain't like you said they want to win now and they just cut them loose instead of getting
Yeah,
these
yeah,
coaches
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think there got to be a balance. I mean, despite what everybody said, but TC Taylor, like he has a balanced approach in terms of recruiting. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he could get, a couple big time transfers from other SWAC schools, from Power Five schools, and he gets some homegrown talent. He develop them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to have a balanced approach. You just can't do like Southern and Alcorn State and Grambling and FAMU and get all like majority players from PWI Power Fives. You gotta mix it up. You can't rely strictly on the transfer portal. You know what I'm saying?
TC Taylor did it. He got the best wide receiver from Mississippi Valley, which was Nate Rembert,
Best one from
and
Prairie
Fairview
View.
A&M Savage, and they balling out, So you can't. You may not like Jackson State, but TC Taylor's doing his thing. He took what Dion did and did. I mean, he's doing better. Dion couldn't even win. And I like Dion, but Dion couldn't even win a
The
celebration.
Celebration Bowl. I mean, 2 years in a row he was the favorite and lost.
Yeah,
Got upset by South Carolina State, and then North Carolina Central just punched you in the mouth. And the crazy thing about it is, it's crazy how T.C. Taylor elevated Jackson State, whereas James Colsey just took what Willie Simmons did and ran it in the ground. It's like, bruh, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, man, it's crazy, man. And James Cozy is another one that's probably ain't gonna make it
Oh no, I
if he
don't think
keep
he's gonna
losing.
make it. I don't think he's gonna make it.
But coach, we gonna wrap it up, man. We had a good time talking about this ball. These coaches that may need to find other jobs, man.
Yeah.
But coach, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
You can come over. You can catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms. However, you can catch me primarily here on YouTube on my channel at Coach 67 Sports TV. I am less than like 105 subscribers away from that 1,000 subscriber mark. Hopefully, after this big weekend, homecoming weekend for Southern and Prairie View, Southern homecoming, Prairie View visiting, hopefully I'll get over the top with this weekend. But if not, I'm gonna keep gritting it and keep grinding it out. But I appreciate everybody that came through, that showed us some love. Uh, of course, on my channel, I'm gonna have a homecoming post game reaction because kickoff is at 4 o'clock at A.W. Mumford Stadium, P. Richardson Field for homecoming. It's gonna take a while to get out of there. It's gonna take probably a few hours to get on campus, a few hours to get off campus after homecoming, and then after that, I'm gonna have my post game reaction, and then of course on Sunday, right here on this channel, the Southern Baller Show with the collective. We're gonna get it out the mud, Dick.
Yes, sir, man. And then of course, like he said, the Southern Baller Show, you can catch that every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We talk about football. Um, stray away from the HBCU. We leave that for the HBCU Fanatics. We talk about college football, PWI, NFL, boxing, all of it, man. So y'all please support a brother there, and then continue to support a brother here every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Um,
7:30 ish.
7:30, yeah, 7:30 ish. Uh, please continue to support. Trying to get up at least to 500 before the year's out. So I really appreciate everyone that come by and show love and participate in the chat. Appreciate all y'all. Y'all have no idea. But this was another installment of HBCU Fanatics. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Y'all have a blessed night.
Peace.